What's going on, my fish friends, my fish people? We just came downstairs to check up on the tanks. It's been a whole day since I've been down here, so lights are going on for the first time today. We got water changes coming up really soon, especially for this tank. It's just mucky. Plecos poop a whole lot. I realize just keeping 2 plecos in a tank by themselves, nothing to stir up the poop or eat it, makes a nasty tank. Let me show you the tanks. So we got this tank here. Real soon you're gonna stop seeing this tank for a minute because it's getting a makeover. Everything's doing fine. Water change is getting ready to come along real soon. This plant right here is growing crazy. This one came uprooted somehow. But today's video is about the mechanics of this tank here. Our little CO2 leveler here, pretty much the same. Saying low CO2. Our wood is showing the sign of that thick white coat that I explained to you guys. That stuff will stick on there about a week or so. You can take a toothbrush, rub it off, and it will grow right back. As you see, the tank looks a little fuller, and that's because we added more plants. Got one in there, got a few there. Off in the back, we got one there. We added some over here, but we're still not done. I will be adding more water to this tank. Comes the next. Once I see that it's cycled after a week of that, we'll be doing a little water change and adding some water to it to level it off. I did clean off the glass, clean the rim off a little bit. Well, let's talk about the mechanics and how this tank is going to function and how our plants are going to be filled. And if I am going to CO2 this tank. So let's start on the CO2. I will be using a CO2 on this fish tank for a little while because the amount of plants that I want to grow in here, I am going to need it. I am going to be getting guppy grass that's kind of going to chill out in this area here. I want it real thick because my next video will explain the breeding process based on the fish, and that's a whole video within itself. So underneath this layer of sand, which is about roughly 3 inches, right in here there's a finer, well not finer, like a rock-like substrate. I'll show you. This stuff right here, it's more like a rock. It holds the plants real good, especially the type of plants that I am planting. So with that said, you have a layer of sand underneath this stuff. Then you have that on top of the sand, and then you have the sand around it. And I've done that for a certain purpose. The reason why I've done that, it's easier for the plants to shoot out roots on the sand side. And then for our more rockish type of gravel substrate, it's more easier for the roots to grab on and stay in there. Wood is looking good. I want to get peat moss, or maybe like I forget what the other moss is called, and I want to tie it to the wood. And I should have done that before the site going and all that, but I didn't. This tank is going to continue to transform even before the fish, because the type of fish that I want to put in here is going to need the plant life, you know, for hiding and breeding purposes. And I don't want to create a breeding tank, I just know it's going to happen. So we will be adding CO2. We set up the soil for a certain purpose. The rocks, these type of rocks hold beneficial bacteria very well. Then we have the sponge filter, that one right there. Sponge filters are very beneficial to a tank, and I think every tank should have one, no matter what type of filtration that you're carrying within inside of your tank, because they can be used for so many purposes. Like right now, that barely has any real beneficial bacteria, but I can literally pull that one out of that tank, toss it in here, and this tank is 100% ready to go. Same thing with that one there. Then we have another little sponge connected to this, and this is just so because how long the tubing was, just so that the sand is not sucked up at a higher rate of speed. And then also, like I said, I'm planning, and I know that the fish will have babies in this tank, so I don't want the babies getting sucked up. Then inside of our filter is just a regular cartridge of carbon with another sponge in the back side there. But we'll be changing that, and it will be 3 layers of like biowalls, carbon, and then what is it called? Polyester, that can help keep the tank nice and clear, and any debris, food, and so on and so forth. That's pretty much the mechanics of the tank and how it's going to run and just evolve over time. This tank is going to look good in the next month or so, plant life wise. Right now it kind of looks ugly because of the water level and then this water damage, but I'm not worried about that because I got a magnetic sponge coming in that will clean that on a daily basis. And I'm gonna get a finer scraper to just get the rest of this stuff off the corners. Video coming for this tank too, as well, to explain the scaping process for this fish tank. Pretty much with a little update, because I just cut the other video off talking about the mechanics of our new fish tank, and the lead up to my next video that was discuss the housing of fish for this fish tank. It can be a positive, negative type of video, so definitely subscribe. You're gonna learn some stuff about the fish that will be going into this tank. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Leave a like, comment what you think the next video is going to be on, and what fish that I'll be discussing there, and anything that you want to add or even know about this tank itself or my racking system.